Hello, everybody. My name is Akita Akari Aurora, and today I'm going to be doing a 666, this is the second 666 energy for June, this beautiful month of rejuvenating. And I wanted to do another medicine wheel. I was guided this morning to, you know what, let's do another medicine wheel because the energy is so interesting. So I said, yeah, let's pull out the cards, let's pull out the deck and see what will appear. And I'm glad I did because what appeared was very synchronistic with the first medicine wheel. And as we move through these 666 energies during the month of rejuvenation, it's truly a initiatory month where we're being asked to make those leaps, make those jumps and leaps into our next steps, and walk through those doors and initiate ourselves into our new experiences and new beings. So where are we now? 666 part 2. And with the first 666 video, I mentioned that there were actually 4 666 energy days this month, but it's only 3. All right, so let's make that correction with this video, and the next 666 video will be done on June 24th, 2002. All right, so let's jump into the medicine wheel. I hope everybody's doing well. We had the super moon last night, right? Today is Wednesday. Well, it was Tuesday morning. And even though today is just Wednesday, oh my gosh, so much stuff is going on and so many shifts that yesterday really does feel like 2 or 3 days ago. But here we are, super moon energy as well as the 666 energy, full moon in Sagittarius. So a lot of expansion there, a lot of room and opportunity and doors truly opening up for us to actually jump in, access, use, turn our wheels. Remember, you are the driver of your ship and you can go anywhere you want. Right? It's truly up to us to be the captains of our own ship. And this is one of the reasons why I do the medicine wheels, right? Wheels of life mean that you get to turn it in any direction that you truly want to, but we have to be we got to be ready. We got to be ready to drive into the direction of our destiny. All right. So the medicine wheel, if you're just joining me for the first time, if you're not familiar with the medicine wheel, what a medicine wheel is, in shamanism, we use medicine wheels to see what's coming, what's going, where we are, what we need to let go of, what we need to let die, what we are growing into, and our potential. All right. What we're calling in and the outcome. So all of that shows up in the medicine wheel. 4 parts, and it really honors the fullness of life and all of the directions of life, which are north, south, east, and west. The 4, right? The 4 corners, the 4 winds, the 4 directions, however you see it. It's that energy of 4 and laying those foundations, laying our foundations on that compass of life that encompasses all. Okay, so that's the essence of the medicine wheels, right? We look at every aspect, and the alchemy and the shifts that are going on. Okay, so here we go. Now the first card out, I don't know if you can see it on the shared screen. I hope you can. All right, so the first card out is Taming of the Wind, and yes, it was upside down. So when I saw this card, I said, oh, well, actually, I just put them all out at the same time. So let me show you what they all are. I think you can see the split screen, but just in case, we have Taming of the Wind upside down, which is in the south direction. And then we have the wind, which is right next to it in the west direction. So my mind immediately was, ooh, that's a lot of wind. That's a lot of change, a lot of shifts and changes coming through, right? And then we moved into the north direction, which was the Seer. Oh. The north direction, which was the Seer. And I was so excited to see this because it really connected the first 666 reading, where the Seer was in the west position. And now the Seer moves to the north position, right? And what's next after the Seer is the child. That's the outcome. So it's a beautiful, beautiful wheel. And let's go through it one by one. All right, so in the south direction is where we look at what is it that we need to let go. And the south direction was upside down, right? So it was the reverse. So what I'm thinking when I see this is that whenever I see wind, I'm thinking, hey, well, let's change, shifts, changes, leaps. And also wind, I always now think about, okay, I remember last year I was meditating and wondering what moves the wind, right? Because when you're outside and you're meditating, you really connect with all the elements around you. So when you merge your consciousness with it, it's like, you feel the wind. Like even today I was seeing where the how the wind was blowing around me, and using that direction of the wind to kind of have a conversation with myself is to understand where I needed to go and what was happening in my life, right? So that wind is always an indication, can always be used as a good indication as to the movement to go and to how to stay in alignment with your higher self. Using the wind to help you do that, like a sailboat uses the wind to move forward. If you are the captain of your ship and you decide that, hey, I'm going to go north and the wind is coming in the opposite direction or pushing you to the south, you're going to have a very difficult journey and you're going to take longer to get there and you're going to have more bumps and scratches along the way. But if we move in the direction of the wind helps us. And our effort, we're not using as much energy, we're not exerting as much energy. So we actually get there faster and we get there in a better shape because we haven't exhausted ourselves going against the winds and the changes of life. And truly, that's what I think this card was trying to speak to, us being in resistance, and it's upside down. So really, and the number is 55. I'm like, oh my goodness. Because remember 55, if you don't know, 5 represents a lot of things, but challenges, right? But it's liberation through those challenges. So when you actually get like 55 or 555, it's like, ooh, breakthrough energy, right? Because it's not just a challenge, but you're actually receiving that liberation energy that you get from going through the challenge, just like what an initiation is. When you think of I'm being initiated into something, it's and when we think about it, it's like, oh, this is a little scary. It's the unknown because we haven't experienced it yet. That's the whole point of initiation. You are you're going through the initial processes of now stepping into something new for yourself. So you're being initiated. And when we're being initiated, that there's some fear there because we don't really know what it is we're stepping into, right? So that 55, it's truly that energy of breaking through that change and transformation towards your liberation, but it's upside down. So what do we let go? Fighting. We let go of being in resistance of the changes and and it says the taming of the wind, right? So the taming of the wind too is like, I'm trying to control this change. I'm trying to direct, like the conductor directs the choir, right? Or when you're trying to tame something down, like what comes to mind, like taming of the wild, you tame a wild animal. So when you're taming the wind, you're trying to control something that truly is out of your control. But so again, that resistance energy, you're not really deciding to go with the flow, right? So I think the message here with this in the south direction, with this taming of the wind being in reverse, it's telling us to let go of that resistance, let go of having to control and fight everything in order to get what you want, and truly to step in that energy of surrendering, right? Let go of trying to tame the wind. It's in reverse of that. So I think, like I said, I think that's, we're letting go of that. We're realizing that it's better to be in union and in flow with the wind than trying to control or manage or resist. And when I say the wind, it changes. What moves the wind? Light, right? So that's when I seeked that answer. That is what I got from the universe. Light moves the wind. And if you look at it, I mean, you could literally look at it as energy, light, because it's all energy, right? It's all a form of energy. It's the elements again, fire, earth, water, wind, right? Elements, right? It's all energy. So when we look at the wind, what is moving the wind? Another form of energy, which is light, right? Because we're feeling that wind as we move through it. So what's really causing the wind is our movement, right? So again, it's upside down. So taming of it and our movement through it is like you're trying to control or be in resistance to how you're even supposed to be moving through life. You don't want that liberation. You're almost fighting against yourself. That's what we need to recognize, those moments when we're truly fighting against ourselves because we're trying to tame the wind. So we're letting go of that. And June is helping us. Remember, June is the month of rejuvenation, right? Coming into full season and full bloom. So we're letting go of those moments when we're truly fighting against ourselves and preventing ourselves from moving forward in the direction of change, liberation, truth, and light. Okay, so that is definitely what I see with this card. And let's go quickly into the book. I have the book right here. Let's go quickly into the book and see what the book says about this first card, number 55. All right, and the first card, number 55 in the south direction, says the message is, hair the feather, a symbol that is used in clearing ceremonies for smudging, reminds you of the sacred commitment you make to your life. This is a symbol of consciously bringing the spiritual into the material, infusing the world with reverence and an acknowledgement of the higher planes of existence that influence and animate all life. The feather is a symbolic reminder of deliberately entering into a partnership with the Great Spirit to co-create for the highest good of all. Different message, but kind of like, okay, so if you're moving with the wind, you're moving with spirit. I didn't mention spirit when I thought of the wind. Well, truth and light, spirit, yeah, but I didn't mention it, but the book did. That's why I like going to the book, because I can see something and you might have resonance with what I'm saying, but you might have more resonance with what the book's saying, or vice versa. You might have more resonance with what I'm saying and less resonance with the book. But either which way, you'll get from it what you need to get from it and pull from it. I definitely got my message. All right, and the invitation. Here's the invitation. It's time to clear your energy. All right, be present. Aha, and become conscious of how you communicate. This is a good time to write in a journal and put your thoughts into a cohesive form. Perhaps you need to actually do a smudging ceremony in your home or office. Create a sacred space to write about your dreams and desires. Just remember that when taming the wind appears as a symbol, it is time to honor the Great Spirit with reverence and respect. That's a beautiful message. I'm glad I read that. It's different from what I was saying, but take both. Take both messages, merge them together, see what you get out of it. All right, so let's go into the next card. The next card now is the wind. And you know what? It said taming in the wind, but I truly did not even see the feathers. But But now we go into the wind, the more and more wind. So same energy, because now this is in the west direction. And the west is, what do we need to let die? And I'm gonna stick with that energy of truly that being out of basically being out of flow, you know. So we're gonna let that die, not moving in the direction and the alignment of where we're supposed to be going, and truly knowing what to do next. And you know, we get that. And well, it's in reverse, but now here's this taming of the wind, right? Where do we go to get that direction from? We go in, connect with spirit, you know. Like I was saying, like I was outside meditating today, and when the wind came, it was like, okay, actually the wind was coming towards me, and I felt like, okay, I'm open, and I'm in this mode of receiving, you know what I mean? And then the wind, I started feeling the wind coming from the east, from the east direction. So I was feeling a northeastern wind, and I liked that, you know, and that felt good for me. And it was like, okay, I'm moving in the right direction. Now that might mean something else to somebody, but to truly be in alignment with how your life is moving, and no longer being out of alignment. And what does alignment mean for you? What alignment means for me, we don't know until we actually have that clarity about, hey, what do I want my life to look like? How do I want to experience my life today? And how do I want to experience my life in the next 2 years or the next 2 months? You know, truly projecting your future. You can write your story. We can create our destinies. It's not just I wake up and I just, you know, I allow life to just fall on me and I accept whatever the day brings, but truly knowing that what the day is bringing is a part of what I've been manifesting and what I've been working towards. So today is a part of what I have been working on from last year or the last 2 years, you know what I mean? And today I'm doing something that will make my next 6 months more about what I want to experience and less about what I don't want to experience. So every single day we have this opportunity to allow ourselves to come more and more in alignment with what it is that we truly want for ourselves. Okay, so in this western direction and the wind showing up, for me it says, you know, coming into alignment, more and more into alignment, and we're releasing being out of balance. We are also releasing not being I'm using they're using the element of wind, but I'm guided now to bring in all of the elements. And truly, what does that mean? Like, we are connecting, we're no longer disconnected from the earth. When you really think about it, this whole reset and awakening and whatnot, what are we truly bringing back? We're returning to something, right? Because life is a cycle, a wheel, right? Not just a dash in the middle. It's truly the circle of life, the complete connection that life has, where everything is connected and interconnected to something else. So in this circle of life, even the zodiac, it's a circle. The clock, it's a circle, you know. Apparently the earth is a circle, right? Apparently, right? So even if it's a flat circle, it could be a flat circle or a blown up circle, but a circle, right? The fullness of it, 360 degrees. So anyway, what are we returning to? What are we awakening? If we are sleeping and we awaken, well, what are we awakening to? And it truly is our relationship with earth and our oneness with it. And we're going back to making that relationship and connecting with Mother Earth in a more powerful way, and tapping back into the ancient philosophies and the ancient medicines and the ancient understandings and their teachings and their practices, because they were more knowledgeable than we are about the earth. Um, Unfortunately or fortunately, when you think about it, we're more technological. We have a better technological understanding and our capabilities to use technology. but they had that capability to communicate with the elements and with Earth itself, Gaia, and Mother Earth itself, and the animals and the plants better than we did, you know? So that's something that we now must learn and relearn and remember how to do that, right? So we were connecting ourselves. What are we letting go? We're letting go this disconnection that we have with the wind, that we have with the elements, that we have with the earth, that we have with ourselves, right? We're really moving into this moment of coming back into wholeness and knowing ourselves as whole and having those relationships, those healthy harmony. Again, 666, harmony, balanced relationships. So we're moving into or releasing, since this is in the West position, we're releasing that disharmony that we have with the elements, including the wind, which represents movement, change, light, and truth. Okay, so we're letting go of not having a relationship with that and not connecting deeply with that. And we're calling that in, that we're returning to being one with the elements, earth and truth. Okay, all right. And then let's see what the book says. That's just my little, that's just what they're telling me, right? Let's see what the book says. And that's number 63. So we had 10 or 1 with 55. And now number 63, the wind is 9. So there it goes again. The first, first and the last. That's another thing that's been, Spirit has been swirling around in my universe, the winds that are swirling around. I actually said to somebody yesterday, you know, so much stuff is swirling around me. I'm so glad that it's so important to be rooted and grounded, because truly when a lot of stuff is happening, if you're not grounded and rooted in yourself, then you could be pushed and pulled any direction, you know. And that's something, you know, to observe with yourself when it comes to the wind. You know, are you, and this, you know, I talk about going with the flow, but going with the flow and just being able and pushing, you know, go with the wind blows this way, you go that way, the wind goes, but you know, it's different from being that like a flag on a flagpole that doesn't really have any control. That's not going with the flow. Right? That's just being pushed around by the wind, right? Going with the flow is deciding that what's coming in is, again, part of your previous creation, and you knowing that it's in alignment. And going with the flow, when something flows and it's not in alignment, you're like, oh no, I'm good. That's going with the flow too, right? So that element of wind, you know, make sure that you're not just like that flag just moving with the wind, because this is a direction that the wind is moving into. And I guess that's, again, that taming the wind, really knowing that, hey, the direction the wind is going in, that's the difference between, I guess, moving with by the flag, and the flag just like moving where the wind moves, as opposed to the taming of the wind. When you're tamed with your taming of the wind, you're doing it with spirit. So you truly understand that, yeah, this is the direction that I need to go in, and this is definitely the direction that I don't need to go in. And remember, there's always 4 directions, and 7 actually, right? Because the ones in between, northeast, southwest, you know. So there are really 7 directions, that beautiful number of 7, right? And you can go any which way you want to. You can go with the wind and help you get to where you go if you and the wind have the same plan. Or you could decide, you know what, I'm going to go in another direction because I know I'm capable of it. And even though all the wind is moving this direction, now this is in the direction for me, I'm going to stand my ground. So that's another aspect of that wind too, right? Being grounded helps you to truly tame your wind, right? And step into that freeness. And that's where the liberation comes, because the liberation is, I get to decide, not the wind. Now that's free. And that's sovereignty. Okay, let's read the next one, which was number 63. Let's see what the book says. Let's see what the book says. It says the wind, and I have this one bookmarked. I think this comes up a lot in my readings, the wind. And it's cool because it's the It's the medicine wheel, and this card actually explains the medicine wheel and the directions of the wind. So the essence is the symbol of the wind, represents the element of air. It rules communication, thought, song, and inspired ideas. It also signifies change with qualities both positive and negative. The wind blows from each of the four directions, and there are different qualities bestowed by each. South, carrying a new sense of trust, helping you gently begin to discard habits and parts of you that are no longer needed. West, calling you to more introspection, to a willingness to make final decisions, to let go of attachment and ego desires. And that's a lot that I've been seeing, observing. That's a big part of the now moment. You gotta let go of the ego deficiencies, the egoic deficiencies, the pride, the greed, the shame, the guilt, the fear, the anger. It is pivotal to let go of these lower energies, densities, and even with the full moon that just came in, it was major transformation and transmutation. Our bodies are going through so much changes, and like truly releasing stuff, and expanding. Our chakras are expanding, so to hold more light. So we are having a real transmutation and transformation when it comes to our physical vessels, and it's in alignment and coordination with um the soul leaps that we're making. Because it's like, if I want more of life, I have to be able to handle more of life and to juggle more of life in balance, so that, because the universe is not going to give me more and then I can't handle it and then I'm going crazy. You know what I mean? So you want everything to be in alignment, what you're asking for. And part of getting in alignment to get what you want is preparing yourself, mind, body, and spirit to be able to manage, take care of, and hold all of the abundance that we're asking for, and truly realizing, you don't get abundance, you are abundance. So when you tap into what you already are and you allow that to be, right? Okay, so ego deficiencies, let go of what you're holding on to. It might kill you. So let it go. Swallow that pride, and step into the bigger part of yourself. Let your mind expand, let your heart expand. See the better version of yourself. Allow the better version of yourself. There's always room to change and grow. The north direction, and that's what we do it for. We do it because we're calling in new things, and we gotta, the north is up, so we gotta let go of things in order to receive all of this beauty that we have. North, moving to bring you wisdom and strength. The east, carrying clarity of vision and purpose. So all of these directions bring you something. So as I was sitting outside today, I felt the north and the east. I felt that I was moving to bring me more wisdom and strength. And I felt that I was coming into more clarity of vision and purpose. And that's truly where I am in my life. So yeah, that definitely is alignment for me. So when you sit outside, the next time you're outside meditating, just really in that moment of stillness, we connect with the wind, but truly feel and discern which way the wind is truly moving around you. And that can be a beautiful window into, what's happening in your life, the direction you need to move towards, right? Move more towards or move away from, either which way. The key is balance, harmony, balance. Those are the 666s. Harmony, harmonious, balanced relationships. 666. All right. All right. Whichever way the wind is blowing for you, the message which the wind whispers or shouts is a challenge. It may take courage at first to turn and face the wind, but you will find exaltation in moving toward it and receiving its lessons. Yeah, so The wind shows up to show us so much things. Whenever it's here, it's truly a time of change. It's like literally that, like when it's truly windy days, I'm like, oh yeah, I know it's a pivotal day. Like we're receiving some new stuff. It's a lot of stuff going on. Like really, like all of the elements are activating, you know. So it's like that. It's like when you're boiling water, it's still, but then all of a sudden the water is boiling. It's like, okay, yeah, change is happening. It's reached this temperature. That temperature, that frequency has everything shaking and moving. So the wind represents that, like the wind represents that movement, like things are changing. So the fact that all this wind was on the board was like, even though it was actually a feather, not the wind, but I think we got the message. All right, let's go into the north. And the north was the Seer, which I love to see. Again, this is number 9, right? So we have 1 to 9. So that message that's been swirling around me about 1 and 9, I'm going to get to share with you guys. Lovely. So here it is, the Seer. And remember, if you watch the first 666, the Seer was in the west position. And if I remember correctly, what I was receiving at that point was that we're removing the veil, and we're going to be looking at things differently, more expanded view, you know, allowing ourselves to see beyond the illusions and really step into the truth, right? So here it is, more of that message, because now in the north direction, remember, wisdom and strength. So the Seer has arrived again because we've let go of the mask, and now in the north position we receive the wisdom and the strength from that removal. Isn't that great? So now we're peering more into truth, we're peering more into the shadow, we see more of that illusion, and we're like, nah, I'm not going with that. Again, the wind, like we're taming the wind, we're working with spirit. Do we want to go in this direction? Is this in alignment with what I want? Now I see it clearly. Is this what I've been asking for? Is this going to cause me more peace, more stress, more balance, more unbalance, more happiness, more joy, more depression, more pain? Like you have to ask all those questions, especially, again, remember it said, do you have the courage to face the wind? And if you do, you get the rewards for it. So that's the same way with the Seer. Do you have the courage to peer into the darkness that's supposed to be so scary? When we do, you realize there's nothing scary here. This is me. And I can figure this out. It's just being able to acknowledge the darkness within yourself and not being afraid of it, and realizing, yeah, I'm an alchemist. I can alchemize this into something better for me. You know, we're so scared of ourselves. We're so scared of our power. We're so scared of our might. We're so scared of our light. And we're scared of our darkness. How about that? We're so scared of our darkness. So we went through this full moon thing, right? Um, and not just full moon, super moon. So yesterday there was this big energy of darkness around. A lot of conversations were coming in about darkness, and it started in the morning when I was working with somebody, and then in the evening when we were doing this beautiful full moon ceremony and womb ritual, which was so nice, so beautiful to do under the full moon yesterday. But anyway, so this whole thing about darkness, right? And it's truly something that I've been thinking about too, because I love the dark energy. I love the portal energy. I've connected it all now with the womb and creation and honoring our darkness and truly seeing the magic that unfolds when you step into the darkness, the unknown, and the power, you know. So that's why I do the readings on the portal energy and on the eclipse and on all of that stuff, because that darkness is truly the energy of creation, right? And the shadow leads you to seeing with the moonlight. Like that moon, the moon is that energy that allows you to understand how beautiful the dark is, and for you to see the beauty in the darkness. It's not, the darkness should not be feared. It's for you to actually apply some light to your darkness like the moon does, and makes the night not feel as scary and creepy, and the monsters coming out. When the moon's there, it's like, oh yeah, let me go out and have some fun. You know what I mean? When the lights are on, it's like, yeah, let me go out there and have some fun. The night doesn't change. The night is still night. It's just this essence of a luminosity that makes that dark energy feel a little safer, but the dark is lovely, right? So the Seer coming into the north direction is us truly being comfortable. If you want to take it as the dark, the unknown, the moonlight, you know, like whatever it is, because it's truly you. It's us. It's things that we don't like looking at, you know, things that we've been scared about and feared for so long. And it's truly now us taking the veils off and stepping into the wholeness of ourselves, loving the light, loving the dark, and being whole and one with everything that we are, accepting, loving, honoring, not fearing. I've been hearing too, what's been coming into me a lot is this whole, the tree of life conversation. There are two trees, the tree of life and the tree of good and bad. And we can sit under either of them. And then in the biblical story, it was like that moment where if you bite the apple, you'll understand that you know the tree of knowledge of good and bad. And that was the duality. You enter into duality because it's truly just the tree of life, the whole circle. When we separate it, it becomes the good and the bad. But if we truly stay and we step into the darkness, and we're not afraid to be the Seer and see beyond the illusions and to get the wisdom and the guidance from our higher selves, then we realize, oh, the light, the darkness, it's all me and I love it. All right, now we got to clear out some stuff now. You got to clear out some lower energy. But guess what? Low energy has no color. It's just that frequency of low energy. Actually, the low energy is the same frequency of the high, is the same color of the high energy. It's just on a different, it's like the piano. All of the keys are white. All of the other, was it the keys and the flats? All the flats are black. All the other keys are white, right? Sharp flats or whatever. I used to take piano lessons a very long time ago. That's right. But the tone, the frequency, you know, it's different frequencies but the same color. So for like my root chakra, the frequency of the root chakra, the frequency of your heart chakra, the frequency of your solar plexus or whatnot, and the different energies, the higher energies and the lower energies, they're all the same color. It's just what frequency are you operating in your heart. It's all the green energy of divine healing, you know, just like envy is green, the heart chakra is green. So are you being envious, green energy, or are you being holistic, abundant, open, free, green energy? It's the same color. All right. So take those blinders off and realize that black and white, it's no difference. It's just about your frequency and about you allowing yourself to step into the wholeness of yourself. All right, let's see what the book says. And then we go into the next card, the last one, which is just beautiful, just beautiful. And again, it's number 945. So here, there's this message about the first shall be the last and the last shall be the first, right? And sometimes you could look at that as a numerical value, 1 and 9, because you first is 1, the end is 9, but when you start over again at 10, then it's 1 and 0. So that a 9 represents the whole of everything, right? So that 9 is completion, right? So we can look at it at a numerical way, but what has been coming into me, it might be a little controversial for some, but what is my personal truth is, as a student of spirituality, I've looked at so many and dived into so many different religions, and as I read about it, watched videos, taken some classes, different modalities and stuff, and just gotten to know, right? Being familiar, aware, added them to my consciousness of all different types of spiritualities and healing techniques and different things like that. And now I've been guided to go back to Africa on so many levels. And I've found myself learning and reading about African spirituality. And that has brought that saying, the first shall be the last and the last shall be the first, to me, because what I'm discovering is basically allowing me to see the roots of all of these different spiritualities and religions that I've been reading about. And that specific line has been coming into me. The first shall be the last and the last shall be the first. It's a tree, but every tree has many branches, but those many branches are connected by the root of something. And I think for me, I've traveled the branches, and I think I started as a young girl when I'm seeking stuff and just the different types of music that I listen to, and tapping into the Rastafarianism and all of that stuff. So I started with the Afrocentric spirituality in terms of my own exploration as a young child, to just reading about who this Haile Selassie was. I didn't take on Rastafarianism as a spirituality for myself, but I definitely read about and understood what that was about. And I had dreadlocks for I think 13 years, I think, too. Oh, I think I cut my locks at 13 years, and just noticing the synchronicity I have with 13 years. I do a big chop at year 13 and change stuff up. Yeah, so anyway, so just, so just starting there. And again, spirituality coming from within, you always look for that replication of yourself in the divine, right? So, but like I said, I've traveled the world of spirituality and tapped into different cultures with it. And I'm now, just like the last 2 years, I've been learning shamanism and energy medicine, or energy medicine through shamanism. And now I'm looking at the African spirituality, and it's such a beautiful process. And I'm enjoying it, because I know I'm here to be this walking mandala, right, of spirituality. And in this level of myself now, it's beautiful to find the root, so that when I put together my rainbow, it will have all the elements, but I could not do it with truly understanding that information coming out of Kemet, right? So I'm very happy to have gotten to this place. So for me, the first shall be the last, and the last definitely is going to be the first. All right. Or the last has turned out to be the first. All right. So anyway, let's get back into this. And that was the Seer card, and that was number 45. So that message is, and we would have heard it with the last 666. So again, so this is also too, like, Spirit truly wants us to get this information in about the Seer and step into this Seerness of ourself, the one that sees, right? The seer represents the capacity to reach beyond the obvious details of life into the hidden realms with information, where information is available to those with the discernment to perceive it. This symbol represents psychic perception, intuition, and the capacity to know something without prior exposure. The seer knows truth, always seeks truth beyond all else, and sees reality as it truly is without judgment. The seer can read between the lines and understand what is not being said. He or she represents the power of clarity and being able to recognize patterns. I want to say too, I was listening to something the other day and they were talking about tapping into our intuition. And because we're in this era now where it's a lot about, the divine feminine energy and divine masculine energy, and us to and coming into balance with the 666 energy of being a balanced individual and having balanced relationships with ourselves, with others, as well as earth, nature, and the animals, the plants, everything, the whole ecosystem. Lost train of thought. Where is that? Wind, what direction am I going with that? Right, okay, there it is. So our intuition, right? Tapping into that and the male feminine energy that because we're balancing within ourselves, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So for the men, for you to honor the divine feminine in you, for really tapping into your intuition, because intuition is truly a feminine energy. It's our natural energy to be connected to our intuition, even though we still have to train that muscle per se, because if you ignore it, stuff messes up. Well, but you have to listen to it and follow those instructions, right? And the more you do that, the more you experience alignment and synchronicity and quote unquote magic, right? That beautiful energy of things happening the way we want to happen, that sometimes we don't even have to do stuff, right? It just is there because of we've matched our energy to it, and literally we're just drawing it in, and it feels like magic, but it's not. It's that you've raised your frequency, so it's easier for you to connect yourself with the things that you're saying that you want, because now you and that other thing is now withholding the same frequency, so it's easier for it to connect. So for the men, because a lot of men are like, well, how I can balance my feminine energy, or what is feminine energy in a man, and all of that, right? So tapping into your intuition, giving yourself that moment of stillness to just think and to be still and hear the quiet, the whisper that's truly coming from within you, shutting that down a little bit, that logical brain, that black, white, yes, no, there's no gray in between. So when you go into your intuition, it's like, yeah, you got to be willing to see through the gray, not to just be like, no, it's this or that, no gray. You got to master the gray. That's what intuition is all about, mastering that grayness, right? And then you see it clearly though. When you really get there, is this clarity there. There's no fog, there's no gray. The invitation, the Seer invites you to trust your intuition and follow it as it leads you forward. You may feel lost when it appears that your hunch is taking you in circles, or even through a maze, but the hidden realms don't follow the rules of a two-dimensional map. Trust your gut and allow your perception of your circumstances to widen, to include the nuances and subtle clues that you normally miss if you take things at face value. The Seer has gifted you with his or her magic. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Your vision is clear. All right. Okay, Seers, time for us all to tap into that Seer energy, get through these illusions and fears, tap into our intuition. And the final card, I just loved seeing it. The child. Because this represents the inner child, and this is the outcome, right? This is the potential outcome. This is where we're headed. And when I see this, I see wholeness. I see that balance. And again, we were just talking about the masculine and the feminine energy, bringing that into balance. Well, the Trinity, the personal Trinity, is the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and the inner child, right? In the Bible, they say Holy Spirit, God, Holy Spirit, and I can't even remember because it doesn't represent. It doesn't represent the fullness of any individual. Once you're not representing your feminine, you're out of balance. Okay. So the masculine, the feminine, and the divine child, and we all have all three of those within us. Okay, that is the Trinity: the masculine, the divine masculine in you, the divine feminine in you, and this beautiful inner child in you. Now, the inner child, for us to truly let this beautiful inner child out, we got to do some soul work, some soul retrieval. We have to let go of those fears. We got to put those eyes of the Seer on. We have to make the environment that we are living in so comfortable that this beautiful inner child comes out and she feels 555, sovereign, liberated, free. You see, no, not scared of anything. This inner child, this child is free to create and be whomever he or she wants to be. New opportunities, the new path, the new destiny is here. The new child is born. That was the whole symbolism of the Christ child. Even if we take it back to the, what's it called? The Osirian drama, right? A divine child was born through Osiris or through a Set and Osiris, I think it is. Sometimes I get mixed up with the Egyptian and the Kemetic names. I think Osiris, I think it was Horus, right? Oset and Horus. I think that's what it was. The masculine was Horus, the feminine was Oset, and the divine child was Heru, which I really like because my solar biology is Heru. So when I watched that, I was like, yeah, right. So we must let our divine children out. If you look into your solar biology, which is a different zodiac, it's the, I guess, the Commandant, or yeah, the command, or just the solar biology. It's but I got it 3 or 4 years ago. So, and instead of it being a Leo or whatnot, they use different they go back into the Kemet, I guess, I don't know, zodiac, right? And Leo is Heru, the divine child. Yes, it's us. Claim it, be it, discover it, let it free, liberate it, allow it to be. You are the divine child, and the divine child is waiting for you to say, come out and play. That's why we have to tap back into the child. There's a line in the Bible. I tell you, the Bible is coded. It's some real powerful information. You have to have the what? Eyes and ears of the who? Child. We got to bring that divine child back out and say, yeah, you can have all your divinity, right? So let's read what the book says. But this is it, right? We go through that medicine wheel. Again, the 666 energy is bringing out the best in us. And that's why we rejuvenating to come out in full bloom as the whole, healed, centered, balanced new being. Okay, let's see what the book says. Enough about what I think. And guess what number that child is? Number 7. The beautiful, mystical, integrated. Check out the zodiac readings I did. I think that was last week, man. These days and weeks are rolling by so quickly. Check out your zodiac sign. See how this merges and alchemizes with your specific zodiac. All right, so number 7 is the child. Let's see what the message is. The child knows the way to joy and happiness. The child offers the return of second innocence, a time born of wisdom and not of naivety, because we've gone through things. We are wise now. We're not, our eyes are not closed. Our head is not stuck in the sand. Wisdom, right? We carry wisdom, strength, and courage. The card allows you to correct your course and offers you a second chance. It brings you the possibility of redemption and entering heaven while on earth. Well, ain't that a beautiful thing? And that's exactly what this whole awakening and reset is about. Realizing, and part of the newness and the new truth and the new allowance is we really can take ourselves through a process of the medicine wheel to have a heavenly experience here on earth. We don't have to wait to die to then can I go to heaven? Nah, I mean, if you want it, if that's what you want to happen, it can happen. But suppose you can just live and live a life that's heavenly and then die and then live a life that's heavenly again because you embody that wisdom, and now your soul, which is eternal, is able to bring that wisdom back to you. All right. So anyway, let's go on. This card allows you to correct your course and offers you a second chance. It brings you the possibility of redemption and entering heaven while on earth. The invitation. Are you ready? The invitation is the child is here to release you from the habit of being yourself and to help you acquire a beginner's mind so that you can see life as if for the first time. Remain open to learning and discovery. Who is your spouse or partner today? Can you see them with fresh eyes? Who is looking back at you in the mirror this morning? Become a mystery unto yourself and reconnect with a sense of childlike wonder. Well, there it is, everybody. This is your second 666. I can't wait to do the wheel on the next 666, the third part. I hope you enjoyed this. This is my first time trying it out on Zoom. I'm going to load this up and I hope to see you on YouTube. Spirit Prescriptions. My name is Akita Akari Aurora. Please like, share, and subscribe and have a wonderful, wonderful week. See you next 666. Now I'm going to turn this off. All right. How do we turn this off? Let's stop the share and then end the video. Okay, got it. All right, everybody. See you next time.